A small town ravaged by one cyanide poisoning. Unsolved murders across the United States. A pill bottle with laced medication. And one little fiber that will lead to the killer. This is Forensic Files. This is a dramatic reenactment that can be graphic. Viewer discretion is advised. The victim takes the anti-allergen after appearing to be sick. The fast-acting poison then flows into his bloodstream, causing the victim to hallucinate and eventually leads to death.
Oh my God! A dead guy! He's dead!
Bad boys, what you want, what you want, what you gonna do when Chevy John Brown come for you? Tell me what you wanna do, what you gonna do? Yeah, bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you? Bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you? When you were 8 and you had bad traits, you go to school and learn the golden rule. So why are you acting like a bloody fool? If you get hot, then you must get cool. Bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you? Bad boys, what you gonna do?
Sussex County's two best forensic investigators, John Figel and Tyler Prime, roll up to the scene, check the body's vitals, and conclude that he is dead. Investigator John Figel speaks with the witness that found the body. She is distraught, clearly, over the loss of an innocent man, purportedly innocent man. Officer Figel collects testimonial evidence from the witness, leaving the investigation one step closer to solving the mystery. Investigator Tyler Prime checks the body, dusts for prints, and collects the pill samples ready to be sent back to the forensic laboratory. The victim appears to have a bloody nose. A man attempts to get onto the crime scene, and Officer Figel pushes him away. The victim appears to have a reverse case of rigor mortis, in which his face grimaces into a smile, though the body is deceased. Investigator Prime collects the fiber sample, ready to be sent back to the forensics laboratory. Forensic scientist Matthew Quadro, DAD, analyzed the fiber found on the victim and compared it to a known sample in a fiber database. He concluded that the fiber was a match found on the employees of ShopRite in the ties that they wore. Forensic scientist Matthew Quadro, DAD, analyzes the fingerprint found on the pill bottle. He concludes that the fingerprint is that of a known ShopRite employee, but that employee has since not made contact with anyone since the murder. Forensic investigator Matthew Quadro, DAD, analyzes the sample of the poison on his trusty workbench. He concludes that the poison is cyanide, and it was laced in the allergy medication.
When we arrived on scene, our forensics investigators noticed that the suspect had died of some kind of poisoning or an overdose of some sort, and we noticed that there was allergy medication on his person. When we did a spot test later in the laboratory, we discovered that the medication was actually cyanide. And also along with that cyanide, we noticed that there was a very specific fiber on that cyanide pill. And when we analyzed that cyanide pill, we discovered that the fiber was linked back to a very specific tie made for ShopRite employees. And then once we had discovered that, we found a fingerprint on the pill bottle. That fingerprint, unfortunately, was not linked to any suspects that we could have had at the time. And once our lead investigators had put all this information together, we still could not come up with a specific suspect. We then spoke with some other states and cities that had unsolved cyanide poisonings, because we figured this might have been the work of a serial killer, and we discovered that there were 16 other cases throughout the United States of cyanide poisonings that had gone unsolved that had been related to ShopRites, where the medicine was sold from. And in every single one of those ShopRites, there was one name that kept coming up at every ShopRite of an employee, even at this latest one, Steve-O.
And so, in a sting operation, Tyler Prime and John Figel went to the victim's house. Wait a minute. I recognize that house.
Hey,
No, you can't take me. No.
is this cyanide? This is cyanide! Get it! Let's take a minute.
I regret nothing. That's my show. That's my show. It'll never survive without me. Jesus.
So originally, the only evidence we had to go off of was on the body. We had the fibers, the fingerprints, and the medication. Through spot testing, we figured out that the medication was laced with cyanide, and it was tampered originally ingested. And then through fingerprinting, we didn't find anyone in the database, and the fibers matched up to our alleged suspect's apartment. How we found the suspect was we traced back the purchase of those medications back to a ShopRite. So we traced it back to the ShopRite, and we pulled the video footage from the stockroom. And we found an employee there tampering with the medications. And the said employee that we found actually was a producer / narrator on our show. So we obviously got a search warrant for his apartment and a warrant for his fingerprints, and all of it matched, and so that's why our narrator now is fired, because he was the one who tampered with the medication and ultimately caused this killing. So the suspect has been charged with first-degree murder, and we have no other comments.